Hi friends, it's Alexander Sebastian back with another Parents as Partners, and today the topic is the sun that is setting in the east on expats from the west. Yeah, there's been a big shift since the end of the Vietnam War in 1975 when overseas production and the expat community up to that time had basically been managers who had been sent overseas to manage raw material supplies and also managing the sales of finished products when they returned from the colonial country or from another country, because production was not being done overseas at that time. It was basically still being done in the home country. But since the end of the Vietnam War, there's been a huge shift with the globalization of and the accessibility of labor here and the rise of cost of labor and environmental concerns in the West. There's been a huge foreign direct investment in companies here and establishing branch offices of foreign companies here to do production here. Now, when this happened in '75, there was a need for managers to come from the West and set up the office, hire the people and instill in the people a culture from the company, and of course check on the books and the prices and make sure everything was following standards, the ISO or whatever the standard was, and that shipments were being done regularly, and there was no pilferage and things were getting done according to Western expectations. Most of the middle managers and floor managers were locals, though. They were hired to interface with the local community, with the workforce, with the bureaucracy and administration and inspectors that came in, and to make things run smoothly on the ground in the host country. So there was this three-tiered, if you like, employment structure. One, the upper management, often being a Westerner, and then middle management being locals, and then the workers in the factory themselves, or in the plantations, for example in Malaysia, etc. So as these middle managers and their children, they had better jobs, they're getting paid, and the quality of education improved here in the East. It moved away from a Buddhist and Confucian centered business model into a more skilled oriented and liberal arts model. And as it did, the people became more aware of what was happening in the West, what the expectations are of a Western workforce. And these middle managers became more skilled and understanding, and they could bridge the gap between the top manager and the locals, and they eventually moved up into the upper echelons of the management scheme. So this is the situation that we find ourselves in now, with these locals running the businesses. And of course, except for some engineers who know specifically machinery or the supply chain or flow of production, most of the work can be done from deliveries and from very low skilled labor pyramid up to the top management by locals. Many of these locals have gone to the West for studies. They have gone to training programs in their companies, and they can be seen as having a long-term commitment to the company because they live where the production is being done. This is their home. They have their families there. Whereas the expats that came over, sometimes they were followed by their family, but not very often. Their family usually stayed back home, and the kids went to school back home. But with the boom in the international school availability here, many expats came over with their families. Of course, Expat Package is much more expensive than the local package. International school costing around $25,000, plus the apartment, transportation, vacation trips home for the whole family, insurance. The apartment has to be bigger where if the whole family is there. They often get a maid, sometimes a driver. The expat package got very, very expensive. And this went on until the financial crisis in the 1998 here in Malaysia and China, Korea, and the whole business model was rethought. And how can the companies maintain the high level of production and specifications in their products and honesty in the dealings and still cut back on the cost? This was the big opportunity for the locals to move into the higher echelon of the management. And now most expat contracts, instead of being for long term, they're often for 6 months or less, and even some of those are being done away with because of the development in communication, transportation, technology. People can come over here as need arises and check out the situation or fix whatever needs to be fixed, or it can be done on Skype with someone showing them if a production machine breaks down. They can be back in New Jersey or in Lyon in France and show them how to fix that machine and how to get it done. So this combination of a shift in viewpoint in the East, away from the traditional model to a more Western model, the improvements in education, improvement in technology, communication, transportation, all resulted in the, as I said, the sun setting on the need for Westerners to come here to the East. Now, international education is an area in which there still is a huge demand for Westerners because parents will pay a premium for the Westerners to be in the classroom. However, that too is dropping off with the fluency of the Filipinos and the Indians, Pakistanis, people from Sri Lanka and the Middle East. There is a ever-increasing number of educated, qualified teachers moving into the international school system, and so those often they're paid unfortunately less than an expat coming over, but they often see this as an opportunity for themselves, and they're probably making more money than they would back in their home country, so they're happy to have the job overseas plus the experience. So we can see there's a major shift here, and the opportunities that were here before are disappearing. However, the opportunities for Eastern cultures and countries, nationals, to go to the West is increasing. In those industries which are not labor intensive or aren't seeking lax environmental laws, the need for skilled people, especially in high-tech industries, software developers, in Silicon Valley and in all up and down the West Coast and of America and in all over the world, there's more and more opportunity for the Easterners to migrate to jobs in the West. So we're seeing a major shift here all around. Also, with the growing interest and the fascination with the East here in the West, there are a lot more opportunities for teachers of Korean and languages and cultures in the West. So we're seeing a major educational, cultural, and workplace shift taking place over the last 10 years. Okay, that's it for this presentation. We're going to try to keep them under 10 minutes, and I think I succeeded on this one. So again, this is Alexander Sebastian signing off with Parents as Partners, trying to bring some useful information to the expat community. And thanks for watching, and please subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.